Talk to me about this one concept on the founder side, right? Incubation rabbits is the only word that comes to my mind, where they hop from one incubator to another, but they never really get incubated. They never really hatch. They never actually go out and do anything. How bad is that? And is that really a thing? Because I've seen some people who you see like, I mean, I'm like, start up your startup already, like stop incubating this thing. You've been incubating it for 5 years. Like, so whose responsibility is that to say, okay, stop. That's it. No more incubation for you. You need to be thrown out into the wild. Or is it the responsibility of the founder? Because, I mean, if they can keep finding a place to park themselves, why not?
So I think it's both. The founder needs to be serious enough to say, okay, I have received help for 6 months in this incubation center where I have had to pay no rent, nothing. I've received mentoring, I've received support, I've been able to network, all of that. Now let me go out into the world and do something to prove that that has been helpful.
Right.
Also, incubation centers should not accept people who've already been part of another incubation cycle.
So that's
our responsibility as well.
And is that the law right now? Sort of the unspoken law? That's not the case right now.
It is not. But some of us have started implementing it.
Right.
That listen, if they've been part, and we phone each other and say, hey, this person was part of your incubation cycle. How long were they there? And that's it. And then we decide, no, they don't belong here. Unless now we're an accelerator. And that is the next level.
Fair enough. So the next level is fine.
It's fine. But you should not go from one incubator because, and I can understand the rationale behind it because they get free space. And many incubation centers give them space for a year.
Yeah, that's free money.
And they just get used to it.
Yep.
And so you see, but what annoys me a lot more is established companies making use of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They go into incubation centers and they're incubated because incubation centers want to make it seem that they have the best startups.
Okay.
Who have delivered this product or that. And those people say, oh, we're getting free space. We're going to put our interns there, or we're going to put a certain level of employee there, and we'll have our main office somewhere else. That happens.
So that's a win-win. It's like a marketing problem, right? One needs space, one needs marketing, problem solved.
Yeah, but is that the reason for an incubation center?
And is that the right use of the incubation center?
And also, on the other hand, now, the government has got into the Act. Higher Education Commission has told every public sector university that they need to have an incubation center. Now, saying that is a simple statement, but most of those universities don't know what incubation centers are all about. So they can set aside a space, but do they do anything in those spaces?
Mm-hmm.
So some of us have started going to those universities and saying, okay, how can we help? Maybe share a curriculum, maybe talk to some of the kids, maybe talk to the faculty and say, okay, this is how you do it. We're trying to help, but we cannot cover the ground everywhere, right? But this is something that needs to be considered, that you cannot just have a mandate that everyone should have an incubation center. And then what?
What's your view on the armed forces getting into this space? Because on Shahar FSL, there's a big NASTAP space that is doing exactly that. Is this their domain?
It's not. It's not their domain at all. But in a city where there are no technology parks, and we've been begging for them for years, anybody who sets up one, I guess we are taking it because it gives us good space, affordable space, where people can engage with each other. So we're saying, okay, it's definitely not their domain. And now we hear yesterday there was an announcement of one being set up in DHA.
Correct.
So everybody is getting in on the Act because they feel that this is something that...
The hot new sector.
The hot.
Yeah. We're going to make lots of money.
Nobody's going to make money on this. But the thing is, we're happy because the more spaces, the better.
Right.
There is space for companies to, set up their offices, engage with each other. There are research facilities.
Yeah.
There are auditoriums, all of that, which they would not be able to afford to get on their own.
And more importantly, there's a community of shared thinking.
There's a community of shared. And we hold events at NASTAP. Yeah. If there are other spaces, we'll hold events there. I think it's fine. As long as they're not taking anyone for a ride, it's fine. They want to get into this. somebody has in their top tier needs to decide if that's what they should be doing, but we're fine with it.
So the last few years we saw like COVID and post-COVID, there was a lot of liquidity around the world, money pumped into different economies, interest rates were extremely low. So money was free and cheap. And, LPs invested in funds that then took bigger risks. In countries like Pakistan, we saw huge inflows coming in because money was cheap.
Yeah.
And when money is practically cheap and free, you're willing to take some crazy bets. And so LPs invested in funds that took crazy bets on Pakistan. There were some major headline failures in the startup space. And then at the same time, globally, money started to dry up, interest rates went up, economies are in a recession. There is a bit of a slowdown that's taking place around the world.